Okay, guys, time for another gun show report. I went to another show, it was closer than the last one. That was December 9th and 10th at the Winston Salem show held by C&E Gun Shows as the promoter. They have a lot of them locally here, and I go to a lot of their shows. Now, compared to the one I went to at the State Fairgrounds in Raleigh, this is a much smaller venue. I'd say a third of the size. And when I went there, I got there about an hour and a half after the show opened, and there was no line. You just walked up, got your ticket, went in. So there was people there because I've been to a few of them the past year or so, past 2 years, and there was hardly anyone there in the parking lot. I mean, it's just that's the way it was, post health crisis type stuff. And also, I'd like to take a minute before we go any further. I know a couple people tried contacting me and sent some comments about the other things, saying they were going to be there early in the morning. I didn't see it till afterwards, But, whenever I go to a gun show and I run across subscribers or people who view my channel and they always stop to say hello to me and talk to me a little bit, I really appreciate that a lot. I may try to announce a local show. I know there's several local people that I may run across here. But no, it really does. And I haven't gone to a lot of shows, and when I went there, I never really had the time to stop and chat. And this time around, when I went in there, I ran into some guys that were collectors slash dealers that are always at the shows, and I ended up speaking with them and getting caught up with them. For years, I've always seen them and talked to them, and it was nice to see them again and just have a friendly conversation, and just see how things were going with everybody personally. Not so much business or collecting, but things like that. So it was an enjoyable show in that respect. Now, going through the show, like I said, wasn't a huge crowd, and it kind of picked up. That small show is weird. It's like you go in there and people just kind of filter in, and then eventually, they hang out for a while, and then the place starts getting crowded. It's not like the long line. Like I said, I was in there 2 hours, and when I left the other show, there was still a line of people waiting. Not as long as it was when I got there, but there was still a line. This didn't have that. And the thing about C&E, you get a hand stamp, you can come back the next day and get in. So your $10 admission covers 2 days of the show, which for people who are trying to sell things or hang around or ain't got nothing better to do, that's a fairly good deal. That's $5 a day. And also what I didn't realize is when I came back to town and said I went to the gun show, there was another one in Greensboro, the little smaller venue, was running the same time, okay, which kind of hurts the shows. But anyway, so I walked around and I'd say there were enough dealers there. It wasn't one of these one-sided things where you had like 30% are gun dealers or have something there, and the rest of them are selling either accessories, food, or barbecue sauce or something. You still had the jewelry sellers and things for the women in that, which I don't kind of blame them for doing that. The women need something. If they're just coming with you, like the wife, she wants to go look at some jewelry or some stuff. So you can't say it's a bad thing. It's just when more than 50% of the show is that stuff and you don't have the dealers there that it's kind of, pisses you off. But anyway, going around, really, I didn't see anything. There were no bargains. A lot of dealers, they had a lot of guns, different variety of firearms, anywhere from Tauruses and that, the low-end stuff, to the Glocks, the Colts, and that, and everything else. But the only thing I did notice is, like I said, when you go online, you can find a lot of these guns for a lot less and have them sent to your transfer dealer than buying them from these fellas. And actually, the prices, like, SKS rifles are going for $750. Um, M1 Garands, that's what surprised me. Is I seen some on a table, they were like 2000, 2000 something. Now, granted, I didn't look to see if they were original, not rebuilt or anything or whatever, but 2Gs, okay, and Springfield 03A3s. One I found for $9.95, and the other two were like 1,200 and 1,300 or something. Granted, they were in nice shape, fairly nice shape, but that's an awful lot of money. Okay, the regular civilian guns, again, everybody had a pretty steep price tag where if you shop around online, you can get the same stuff way less. Okay, like, them G3s and that I was buying on sale, getting them for $240. Everything was $325, three something. I know the Taurus revolvers, you will not find them under $300. They're $340, $350. They don't really have a break or sell, have sales on them or rebates or anything, at least not recently. But I run across a young man, was there with his wife. I'd say he's about 30 years old or so, I'll call him a young man. And he had an M1 Garand, and I said, "Are you selling that gun?" Because I was just curious. He goes, "No, I just bought it." And he kind of was mumbling, he wouldn't really quite tell me because he kind of cut a deal with the guy. The guy had a couple of them and he picked it up. I said, "Well, listen, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I'm just curious, what do they sell for?" I said, "The last time that I was at a gun show, it was quite a few years ago, say 5 years ago, they were all going for about $1,200. And that was kind of like the going rate. Everybody at the gun show had a Garand, and that's about the price tag was on there." And he told me that they're, depending on what it is, they're $1,800 to $2,000 in that price range. And I guess for the original military ones, he said you can get rebuilt ones or refurbished ones for about $1,500. And I'm like, ooh, okay. And he said, "There was a guy over there who had 2,000. I said, "Yeah, I seen that." I said, "That's why I'm asking you that." And then he said that, barring the M1 Garand and the military collectibles, he said, "I was just looking at the prices on the other guns." And he told me that he went online and he bought some sort of Ruger pistol. And he paid like $575 for the gun, had it sent to him. And he goes, "There's a guy over there that has one. He wants the MSRP of $750. Okay. So I don't know if these people got him before the slump and they just got too much into them to make a profit or what, but you can get a better deal. Nobody's selling stuff cut rate. You can get a way better deal online than going there. And when I came back from the show and was talking to people about it, there was one guy that asked me, were there a lot of people there? I said, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't deserted like it was a year ago, but I said, the prices were pretty steep on everything. He goes, "Oh, so it ain't even worth going." I said, yeah. I mean, in the past, if you went like in January, like he's going to have another one in January, and I don't know what it is that people are just trying to clear their inventory, you could find some decent prices on some nice stuff. Retail, brand new retail. I ain't talking about surplus, but you could catch some decent deals, because they just, I guess, the shops just needed to generate some money, but you don't see that anymore. And like I said, what's going on online, just about every day, you can go and find stuff for way less than what these people were asking for. Granted, you got to pay shipping and probably a transfer fee, which usually adds about $40 on there, so you got to kind of gauge it. But in reality, you're better off buying the guns from a big box store. And I got Sportsman's Warehouse and Academy Sports. Somebody I knew went down there and bought a Glock 26 or something. And they were telling me that they went there was a sale, there was a coupon and this and that and everything else. And they give them a guarantee of beating anybody's price and that. which kind of hurts the small shops that are throughout the city. Because when you can go there and save $40 on an item, they're just, that's why a lot of these small gun shops have a hard time surviving or staying there any length of time. So yeah, it wasn't a bad deal. I ain't going to say it was a wasted trip. It was more just relaxing and talking to some people, and really it kind of surprised me at the prices for everything, not just mill surplus, but also, the regular retail stuff there was pretty steep. But it was a nice day to go out, talk to some old friends, hang out, and I'm sorry I missed you fellas that sent me messages and saying you were going to go down there. I really would have liked to stand around and talk for a while. With my subscribers, viewers, whatever. But I'll keep you informed, and maybe I'll go to another one again. But that was the way it was. But it's looking better. I mean, when you go there and there's people there and there's vendors there and there's something to look at, whether you get the price you want or not, but it's still something to do on an afternoon when you ain't got nothing to do to go to the gun show. They're starting to get better. They're starting to revive and get somewhat to where it's worthwhile going there in some ways. All right, guys. Thank you, and stay tuned.